Hey, what's happening, you guys? This is the Proclivity Podcast. I'm your host, Joel. I'm here with the ever so talented Coach Emily. Coach, how are your thighs doing today?
Recovering.
Emily and I decided to go on a run today. And if you're a runner, you're going to get this. Sometimes you pick the wrong shorts for a long run. And you don't put on the appropriate ointments, and before you know it, you're creating fire in between your thighs.
Lesson learned, choose the right shorts.
Is it a lesson learned, though, Coach Emily?
It is.
That's what she says now. And then there'll be another podcast where we'll jump on, and it's either going to be me or her, because I did it 2 weeks ago. It's one of those things. And we're going to be talking about fitness today in episode 77. There's going to be a lot of views to this, right? We talk about the proclivity pyramid, and we have an episode. If you haven't watched it, go back. I can't remember what episode it is. Yet go back, check it out. We talk about fitness in the proclivity pyramid, yet it's probably not the way you think. And we have a special guest today who is so talented and so specialized and so smart in the topic of fitness, not only just fitness, but all the different areas around fitness to help you create the body and the life that you want. This guy lines right up with proclivity, and that's why we're super excited to have him on the show. So without further ado, let me tell you a little bit about this guy. Chase is a men's life and fitness coach who specializes in helping men create the tools in their fitness mindset and lifestyle to finally become the man they have always dreamed of becoming. After running a very successful gym for more than 8 years, Chase found his true calling as he now serves men online using language and stories to demolish their inner critics and help them build the body and life of their dreams. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome to the Proclivity Podcast, Chase.
That's me.
That's you. Here you are. What's happening, man?
Look at that. Dude, you're happening with that amazing intro, and you're such a pro. I love this. Love being here.
I will tell you what. Out of all the pro things that I do, being a pro hype man, if you ask Emily, is that one of my top pro things?
For sure. Yeah, if you need your own personal hype man, just give Joel a text or call.
I love hyping it. You're easy to hype up, though. You're easy to hype up. Like, I mean, come on. Like, let's be real. Your background in health and fitness, you ran a gym for a very long time, a successful gym, and you sold that gym off, right? Is it still there?
Yeah, so it's not there. When it came time, it was a quick decision to close it down. It was something that had been on my mind for a while. And it was one of those, like, I'm done after this month.
Right.
It was, my brother passed. I had some perspective shifts, and I made a couple of plays to, hey, do you want to take it? Do you want to take it? And I was like, all right, cool, we're done. I shut it down and pieced it out.
Yeah. And how was that decision for you? Because, I mean, again, you ran that gym for 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
How was that pivot point for you?
It was the most freeing thing, one of the most freeing things I've ever done. Top 3. And I see it reflected in a lot of my clients. And we all do it, right? It was this decision that I had dragged out for almost a year past when I knew it was something that was going to be needed. Q1 2021, I told my staff, I was like, Q1 2022, I am no longer a part of daily operations in the gym. You guys, we're making you guys the face of the gym, and things happen, run the business, turnover and whatnot. And I mean, as life would have it, I I I wasn't a part of daily operations at the gym in Q1 2022 because we shut down on December 31st, 2021. So
And what's amazing about that, Chase, is that you've been on the podcast before. Now, this is a prior podcast in which is a name that I am unable to say. Yet, I remember you talking about that. That was well over a year ago, and I remember you talking about that. And abracadabra, here it is. It came to fruition. Now, how did you get started in fitness and going in that direction? Because it's starting your own business, particularly in fitness. One, you got to have the passion, right? Two, you got to have a lot of guts and trust in yourself to be like, I'm gonna go do this, right? And three, actually doing it. So what got you to that point of like, I'm doing it?
so a lot of it was watch my father when I was young. He had a weight bench in his bedroom when I was 4 years old. Like physical fitness, lifting weights, was a thing. He would go for a run and I would ride a bike with him when I was a kid. And like riding a bike, I could ride a bike as fast as he jogged, and that was how small I was. Uh, so fitness was instilled there, and movement, like to entertain myself, I would ride my bike around, even when video games became a thing. And my dad took an unconventional route to becoming an airline pilot. He, flew freight, took the long way there as opposed to, college or the military. And he also had a handyman business on the side and vending machines on the side, both at different times. So there's this I'm going to do things my own way spirit that I picked up. After I was in the Navy from, 2010 to 2014, I was like, oh, wait, I don't like this system. I already know I'm less than a fan of traditional education, and let's go get my own business education by opening a gym. And I only realized after the fact that I was getting a business education. Got out of the Navy in 2014. And there's my guard dogs. And I got out of the Navy in 2014 and went to work opening the gym. And that's the origin of all that.
Wow. What a drastic difference. I mean, I've worked government and I've owned my own business, and I've worked in between. I've worked corporate, right? I've worked for other small businesses. They're on the two different spectrums. And you're talking not only government, but military. And then, oh, sure, sign the lease and do what you want in this building, right? What did you learn in the military that actually helped you in your business?
Great question. That's the first. Leave it to you. And I left the Navy because I was disenfranchised with a broken leadership system and flawed advancement structure. What I did learn and take out of it for value was show up on time, do what you're supposed to do, and it goes a lot further than people think. Like if you just do what you're supposed to do, I was the golden child. I was a first termer. I had control of an engine room with guys that had been in for 12 years working under me, and all I did was wake up on time, show up to quarters on time, and do my job. Like, well, if it's that easy, then how easy is it out here? Because apparently the military, we're all like high performers, right? Wrong. A lot of people use the Navy as a babysitting service for fully grown men. And what I carried over, love it when I can make you laugh. What I carried over into the gym was just checking boxes, more or less. You do the things the simple things, the preventative maintenance that is very easy to do and very easy to overlook. Next thing you know, you're getting touted as one of the cleanest, well put together gyms in the area, or even for my people that traveled that they'd ever been to. So
I totally agree. And I saw that. I never visited your gym, but just being able to see the videos, the pictures, the way you present your gym. Like I look at all that, right? Because I ran a gym. And so I'm looking into like pictures of in the corner, right? Are the barbells aligned, right? Are the weights where they're supposed to be? Is there random bands hanging from the rig? And every time I saw pictures, right, it was like, it was lined up. It was clean, right? I mean, you had the presentation, and to credit to the military, it did teach us some of that, right? Us, right? I should say you, right? My grandfather was in the military, right? Emily has deep roots in the military with her family. And I believe we all pulled a little bit of that from like, hey, really? It's check the box. A plus B equals C. So just do A plus B. While other people are like, I don't know, that plus sign in between B just seems a little too much. What?
Yes.
No, you just do it. You just do it. So, I thought that was really interesting, seeing shift from way over here, military, to opening up your gym to what you're doing right now. And real quickly, what was the shift? Because now we're talking 3 shifts. Shift from military to the love of fitness, right? And helping others. To now the love of fitness and helping others into helping men specifically. Can you give us just a little transition to where you're at now?
Yeah, love to. Late 2020, I started really pushing going online. I had some remote clients, and I was like, I have this skill set, and I had just gotten introduced to Enlifted, so I had another really awesome skill set.
That's right.
And I was like, I'm going to combine this, and I'm going to, combine this fitness thing and this word thing, and I'm sure it's going to work. I don't know how yet. It'll work. As y'all know, and people that work with know, it works really well. And that's happened late 2020, early 2021. I already saw the writing on the wall. Being at the gym till 11:30 with a plumber, or you're only ever one employee away from being right back in the mix. Mm-hmm. And then you're unable to take the sales meetings, and like it impedes everything. And I was like, I imagine this chapter's coming to an end sometime soon. And I started affecting much, much more change with the guys online. Because while you can work the words with people in a brick and mortar, by and large, from what I've seen, the perception when people come into a brick and mortar is, well, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to sweat, and I'm going to go home. This is the best hour of my day. This is where I blow off my steam. All those pieces. Mm-hmm. I'm like, that's cool. That's awesome. At least they're moving. And I was enjoying the change I was affecting online. So everything rolled into having a big perspective shift when my brother passed, that I wasn't in certain pictures or certain videos because I had a business to be at and a gym to run. And I'm like, I had 3 talks with him easy over last summer. Like, dude, I'm burnt out. I think the gym's in its last year. And his response on the last one was like, it sounds like you've made your mind. Like, made your mind up. So then after seeing the pictures and videos that I missed out on and giving a speech at his celebration of life about his vision and perspective and the way that he could always provide it, I took what he provided for me shortly after his passing and announced that I was shutting the gym down. And now we're fully online, and the doors are swinging wide open with more than just the Primal Man pathway, and it was the right decision, and I'm able to truly affect that change that in 12 weeks, like, I want to work myself out of a job. Like, guys come to me, they're like, well, what about like a year? I'm like, we'll see after 12 weeks, because most people get done after 12 weeks, and like they're able to stand on their own 2 feet. So
right.
That's the transitions.
And so, and very similar to the transition that I made, very similar to the transition also that Emily made. It's this, hey, how much deeper can I go here? You start asking those questions, right? where it's like, okay, well, yeah, fitness felt good, but why are people still in this revolving door, right? As coaches, for Emily, why is it that, we get them on the right path, but then all of a sudden they drop away, right? I mean, Emily, that does you specialize in nutrition, right? And that's your background. Similar to that in the nutrition realm.
Yeah, for sure. I would be coaching them on things specific to nutrition. And I'd say this all the time. I could only get so far with them until they didn't make a bit deeper change. And when Joel, you came along and talked to me about this language stuff and mindset and lifestyle, that's where I was like, whoa. So yeah, very, very different. And like you said, we're getting much deeper into the root cause now.
And that's what we're going to talk about today, guys. If you're joining us right now and you're just like, oh, cool, we're going to talk about this fitness and get fitness regimens and so on and so forth. Yes, we're going to talk about fitness, and it's going to be great. You have some of the greatest minds, the three of us together in our background with all kinds of different certifications in CrossFit and Olympic lifting and strength training and running and so on and so forth. These are some of the greatest minds you can have on a podcast. Yet, we are going to dig a little deeper, as we did to get ourselves to where we are at with Proclivity and Chase did with the Primal Man Pathway, so that you can see a different light here. So that maybe there's a identity shift, or just you looking at things a little bit differently, so that you can truly get towards the results that you want, whether that's working with the Primal Man Pathway, the Proclivity, or some other coach in another business. The thing we want to bring to you in this podcast is awareness about your fitness and your identity with fitness, right? And how the fitness industry in itself plays into that identity when it comes to creating healthier bodies and happier lives. So I'm really excited about it. Let's dive in. This is a great background. Super excited about this. We're going to start off, Chase, and I'm very interested. Emily and I have talked about this quite often. The fitness industry itself makes a lot of money. Lots and lots of money every single year. I want to say the revenue is like 35 billion. Is that? No. Somewhere around there, right?
I'd imagine it's larger than 35 million for the whole industry.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to say it's billion, right?
Yeah.
Annually. What is the good, right? Because we've been part of this. What's the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to the fitness industry? There's a lot of good things, right? People getting healthy, that people moving. We know the benefits of people moving and being healthy. Yet when we're talking about the fitness industry, what's the good, the bad, and the ugly that you've seen with all of your experience being in this industry?
So the goodest good, to use a fun word there, that I've seen is that fitness and physical expression can be a gateway drug for personal development, for self-improvement. It can also sometimes be where people stop. It can be, to get into some of the bad, it can be where they hide. And the fitness industry can reinforce that hiding. Come blow off your steam. Come do this. Come do that. And the gym is therapy. There was an Instagram and TikTok audio that went around for a few weeks, like last month, and something along the lines of, I'm on 2 hours of sleep, 3 Red Bulls, and a pot of coffee. Let's go, or something like that. And I actually got sent that one by somebody, and it was a fitness guy that made it. And then you see him do a big heavy power clean after that, and I get it. Like oh, look at me, I'm out here grinding no matter what. And there's a certain element of value to some people are out there looking at life from a lens of, well, I'm always tired. I always have something going on. So we're trying to, and while well-intentioned, we're missing the mark with that kind of message. And then to be relatively brief about this, the ugly is, Orange Theory Fitness doesn't open their doors. Will only open their doors for a new location when they have something like 400 members signed up. The ugly is that it's all of, for, before I do some binary language here, for the majority of the franchises and the chains and the people out there running these fitness businesses, it's not about impact, it's about profit.
I'm going to come back to the bad, yet the ugly I do want to touch on. We say quite often on the Proclivity podcast, everyone's trying to sell you something, including us, including the Primal Man Pathway. Yeah. It is your job to be able to go, is this what's best for me? Yet we tend to fall into the shininess, right? The marketing. And that's why it's a 36 or $35 billion industry, because they're pitching to our hells or our weakness without the end solution. They're going like, oh, you feel fat, right? You feel like, man, you get so tired walking up the stairs. Come to Orange Theory, right? We'll help you blow off steam. So they play to the language and to the hell and to the hard that people are going through without the end solution. Why? Because just like what you said earlier, I'm trying to work my way out of a job. Because in 12 weeks, same for you, same for us, we don't say, hey, somebody who says, you know what, I've been working with you guys, I'm good to go, right? What most people would say, like, as a business, like, oh, I had a member quit. We go, we had a member graduate, and we send them a card, and we say, congratulations. And if we can, we get on a call with them, and we say, hey, we just want to take an opportunity to celebrate the heck out of you for what you've done. I'm pretty sure Orange Theory is not celebrating the loss of profit or of a member.
No, and that's part of what became so misaligned for me in running a brick and mortar, because you're sitting there trying to get your churn rate down below 6% to have, 95, 96% retention, which is, you have 96% retention month over month, year over year. You are top 1% of fitness facilities.
That's right.
And guess what? We got really good at that for a time. How many people was it really serving? Because we were a high ticket fitness facility. So then I'm sitting there handling objections, and yeah, we had custom programs and everybody was on their own strength piece. We had a hybrid group model, right? So everybody would get their own strength, and then they do a group workout together where their coach has helped, their individual coach has helped them come up with modifications for things as opposed to just general scaling. And still, even in that model, it's like, okay, cool. Like, their personalized programming got them pain-free. They're moving well. They can attack just about anything now. It's disingenuous to keep them here at $400 a month. Guess what? $400 a month was about the bottom of the barrel I could have somebody invest per month and still pay a coach to stick around and pay a lease and have anything left for groceries.
Right. And so we get into, and I was right there with you, right? It was a lot of the times the numbers. And when you get stuck into the numbers, it's kind of like, oh, no, we love our members, but how much are you paying? Like, it starts getting to that point. And, there's an identity shift, I know for me, from leaving the gym to getting to where I'm at, of service and what I'm presenting, right? That need to shift from that model of like churn rate and retention and numbers, Yet, guys, if you're listening, this is any brick and mortar. Even the best of the best, they got to be thinking about this kind of stuff. And it is a tough position to be in, coming from, all three of us being in the fitness world and knowing about this stuff can be really, really challenging. And I want to come back to the bad, because you said something that really perked my ears, and I know is going to bring other people who may have heard it and didn't understand it. And Emily, I want to bring you in on this as well. The hiding. What do you mean, Chase, that they're using fitness to hide? Hide from what? And why Are they, why, what does the hiding end up doing when it comes to their fitness?
Before I say this, I want to say I've had my run with alcohol, and I have a leg to stand on when I make this correlation. A lot of people are using the gym like an alcoholic uses a bottle of tequila. And a lot of fitness coaches, whether they realize it or not, are drunk bartenders. And it's a self-perpetuating cycle. So what are they hiding from? They're hiding from themselves. They're hiding from their bad day, when in reality their choices and their narratives created their bad day. They're hiding from their marriage and their spouse that they can't stand, but they haven't put in any work in that marriage. They just go to the gym and blow it off, but they're not at the bar, so it's okay. They're hiding from their mortgage that they're upside down on, but instead of working out 3 days a week and doing something the other 2 days a week to get ahead in life, they're working out 6 days a week to keep quieting the noise. They're hiding from the fact that they're miserable and unfulfilled but don't want to admit it. So they hide behind their 500-pound deadlift or their 230 Fran time, but they go home and they have no sex drive and they can't bend down and pick their kids up.
That analogy hit home hard for me. As I'm like thinking of myself as a coach and back then. And again, guys, we're not bashing coaches. We were coaches. We lived it. Yet we've also recognized that perpetual wheel where people would come in, they would hurt themselves and then just be right back in the gym, or they would be totally sick and be right back in the gym, where it's like, this makes no sense.
I tried to sweat out a cold by rowing a 5K one night after I got done coaching a full day. I've been that drunk bartender of a coach. Like, I've been there.
And the person drinking.
And
right?
the person
and the
drinking.
drunk, right? I was both.
I was drinking and serving.
As bartenders do.
Yeah, exactly.
Emily, I know that we've been studying a lot on neuroscience in terms of that dopamine hit that a lot of people can get from exercise. But yet Chase also talked about, right, a dopamine hit that we can get from nicotine, a dopamine hit that we can get from food, Instagram. Do you find, or have you found this in nutrition coaching as well, or your fitness coaching?
Yeah, and to go back on the personal side for myself, back in college, in terms of hiding, right? I went to the gym. That was the only place I felt confident, truly, looking back. And then I got injured and sick, and I couldn't work out. And I felt very lost. And that's when I realized, I'm like, I can't have my only piece of confidence in the gym. And so for me, I was hiding from developing the other parts of my life, and myself. So that when you speak to that, that's exactly what I think of. And I think of that for other people too. And it's very similar for a lot of my clients, whether it be the gym or they turn to food or whatever it is, it's all relevant. And so I always challenge people, or I often ask, why are you afraid of this other part of your life? Why are you avoiding it? And why does this have to be your only crutch? Because imagine, I think of this all the time. Like, what if I got injured again? Would I be okay? And my goal is, yes, I'm going to be okay, right? Because I'm confident in these other areas. So yeah, that's exactly what I think of, and I see it a lot in all aspects, especially with nutrition too.
That those special little sentences, right, that people say, like, I have to get to the gym, right? I'm a better person when I hit the gym. Y'all are putting spells on yourself. Chase, what's the definition of a spell?
A word or combination of words believed to hold great power.
Abracadabra, you guys. Right? If you say, I'll go crazy without the gym, you're going to feel darn crazy without the gym. Now, all of a sudden, the gym becomes your crutch. Because now, for you to be sane, you have to be at the gym. So what are you going to start giving up? Time with family? Time with friends? Right? Because I have to get to the gym. Sleep.
Yeah,
So
I had people at the gym that they wanted to get there every day, right?
yeah,
So they would come hit the 7:30 p.m. class, and they'd be busy that next night. When do they have time? The
five
next
Early in the
5:30
morning.
a.m.
5:30 a.m.
They would leave the gym at 8:30 and be back there 9 hours later. You think they got sufficient sleep going door to door, not like walking out and walking back in 9 hours later?
No. Which leads me to my next question, because this is important to be able to address. People are listening right now. There could be some people that are getting a little offended, right? Well, this makes me happy, and how dare you guys? Guys, we're coming from a place of so much love and appreciation for fitness, yet we have learned. Again, I am going to repeat this. You have some of the best coaches in the world talking to you right now. It would be in your best interest to listen, be expansive, and take in what we're saying. My question to you, Chase, is with these people who are listening, what is on the average from what you remember or you have seen, what do people think they need when it comes to fitness? We've talked about the good, the bad, the ugly, the identities, and so on. But what do people think that they need, and what do they really need? Okay, they're coming from a place. Oh, I need this, right? But what
Yep.
do they really need?
I love that question, and I'm glad that you laid the, hey, we've been there, because I understand. I totally understand. I can come off a bit abrasive at times, and that being like I lived it. We're talking about this because we've been there, and sometimes it's a natural part of the journey. Sometimes you can hear three people who've been there talk about it, and you can cut 3 to 5 to 7 years out of the middle of your journey and have a whole lot better progress.
Yes.
That being said, what do people think they need? People think they need to have trouble walking down the stairs after leg day. People think they need to be laying on the floor in a puddle of sweat, unable to breathe for it to qualify as a good workout. People think they need heavy, intense workouts more than they need them, like 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week. People think they need people think they don't need any food. people people they think they need the no days off, grind till you stop. And luckily, it may just be my algorithm, and luckily there's a shift in coaches and facilitators starting to change that. There's more of us out here now than there were a couple of years ago talking about a balanced lifestyle. Talking about what they do need. Enough food. Like enough food. If you're in this constant giant calorie deficit and you're sleeping like crap and your digestion is crap, pun intended, and you have no mental acuity and your energy is way down in the gym, how do you expect to support any lean mass? Much less, how do you expect to, from my target market, men, how do you expect to keep your wife satisfied if you're not eating enough? And then my training, yeah, I was a CrossFit geek, and I barely do any CrossFit anymore. I understand there's value to it.
Don't tell her that, right?
It's like basic resistance training through full ranges of motion at a rate of perceived exertion of like 8 or less for most of the time. Bumping it up high every once in a while to get that high stimulus, and then move every day. Go for a walk. Go for an easy bike ride. Something like, guys, look at an old person, like at an age that if you just heard the age, you'd think they were decrepit, who goes for walks every day. They're going to be very vital. So
Yes.
if at a base level, what people need is, in my opinion, if Emily wants to correct any of my nutrition stuff here, please be my guest, but eat enough protein, eat quality real foods, drink your water, lift some weights, go for walks, and sleep as much as you can while remaining employed and married.
So well said.
I was about to say, yeah, we're taking that last one. Sleep as much as you can, like to be able to stay employed and married. Oh my gosh. I mean, it is one of our very first things that we teach in the proclivity method is structure with your sleep. That's one of our first things. It's the elixir of life, right? And to be able to get sleep is so vital. Yet I want to come back here on something that you said, what people think they need. And it is that, oh, I need to eat less, work out more. Okay. Emily, from what I know, Chase, feel free to put in this, your body is so damn in tuned that it's trying to keep you alive. That when you are in a caloric deficit for too long, your body's going to go, oh, we can't put out the same energy. So it's going to start lowering the energy output, right? It's just going to go, oh, cool, we're not going to be able to put that same. So like Chase was saying, all of a sudden I don't have the same spunk in the gym. All of a sudden I find myself more cranky, right? Emily, can you touch on that just real quick? The whole calories in, calories out kind of concept and where that can be so detrimental.
Yeah. So if you're not getting the correct amount of calories, like you mentioned, your body goes into survival mode. So it starts thinking, how can I survive? And I'll put everything else in the background. So as Chase mentioned, your hormones, literally your body starts going, oh, don't need to pay attention to the sex hormones. Let me steal them so I can literally just survive today or another day. So then your libido goes down. If you're a female, your monthly cycle gets wacky. And those, as we know, have greater effects, of course. But a big one that people don't often think about is you keep the weight on, actually, because it's that survival mechanism of, oh, I need to have that stored fat. I'm not going to utilize it as much as I would normally. Does that make sense?
It makes a ton of sense. And I think to myself, I saw thousands of people in the gym, Chase, and I'm sure you can relate to this as well, working out 5 days a week. And their body really never changed. First initial change, they were in the gym, right? First initial change, right? They feel stronger, right? Their body composition changed just a little bit. But then I've seen people that in the same gym, right? That's still open now. They look exactly the same as they did 5 years ago. Not that it's right. It's all about appearances, guys. But just like we were talking about, you're not getting enough sleep. Your hormones are shutting off. Your total energy expenditure goes completely down. Yet we continue to chase the high or run away from the scaries by going into the gym and hitting the high intensity workout. Have you recognized that, or did you ever see that in your gym?
Yes, I want to touch on what you said. It's not about the appearances, and it's not about the appearances. Like to be chasing, ab veins and everything. And like, if we're being quite honest, people get a little more confident when they drop some weight. Like by and large, like if you're 80 pounds overweight, you can love yourself and you can be confident, and you're likely going to be a little happier with what you've done if you're only 30 pounds overweight, or if you're at a super healthy weight. And by all means, love yourself wherever you're starting, always.
Right.
And Robert Sapolsky's book, Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. They don't get ulcers because they save their fight or flight for when they're running across the savannah getting chased by a lion. So when we extrapolate that to what you asked about the gym, like, people are going through all the stressful things that they're running from in the gym. It's still stress. So when we look at that and we use the stress bucket that OPEX teaches in their CCP, everything goes into the same bucket. So you just got stressed out at work, and then you got stressed out because your kid broke their arm playing baseball, and you're stressed because your wife is stressed, and you're stressed because the dog peed on the floor. But you're going to go to the gym and blow off the steam, and your body's going to get better. There's no way that stress is going to manifest as, a slight a significant change on the front end because chances are you're doing some sort of high intensity weight training, and it will create a fast response on the front end, leading people to think this is so great. And then you're pummeling yourself 5 days a week. That stress response is showing up as weight stays on, joints start aching, and like you take a rest for a little bit and it feels better. So then you come back. But then that stress response is right up there again. And then we go to active life's load versus capacity. And like if I walk across the street and get hit by a bus, that's above my capacity. And everything feeds into your capacity. So if you are just burying yourself over and over again, your load is going to exceed your capacity. And something's going to break. It may not be physical. It might be mental. It might be your hormones. It might be your body composition. Something is going to go.
I'm hoping at this point, guys, if you're listening, you're starting to resonate here. That you're starting to go, oh man, you're right. Like, yeah, I do have this mid belly fat, right? Oh, you're right. Like, my hormones, I don't sleep well at night, but I'm hitting the gym, right? I'm counting my macros. I'm in a deficit. Which, there's so many topics that we can talk about here. Yet, one of the things that I'm very interested in hearing from both of you guys is, what do you believe is the biggest lie that the fitness industry has tells us or has told us?
Ladies first.
Nice. Good move there.
Oh man. The biggest lie the fitness industry has told us, I mean, from what I hear from people is, the more I do, the better it'll be. When I look at or hear from people, I need to go more often. I need to have higher intensity. I need to run longer. That's what I hear most commonly. And as we know, and like you just explained, I use that example often in terms of the stress bucket. These are good stressors, right? To a certain extent. We have that bucket of stress that fills up. Once it starts overflowing, inflammation happens, and it shows up in all the forms that you mentioned: mental, physical, disease, whatever, right? It's different for everyone. And so being able to recognize, I have all these stressors, and then I'm adding this one, hitting it hard every single day in the gym too. Whoa, like let's slow down and take a look at that picture. But that's what I hear most commonly from people. I'll say that.
The biggest lie perpetrated by the fitness industry is that it's designed to actually help people.
You just perked up so many ears right now.
That's good.
You see, we talk, guys. Think slow, speak slow, act fast. Chase created a little space there, passed it on over to Emily, right? And then he just dialed that in and hit a home run. Wow. Yes. Please extrapolate. I could go many ways. I'll let you go.
The people who excel as clients in the fitness industry don't actually need the fitness industry. They're already in shape. They enjoy working out. They may be hiding from themselves like we were talking about. But as far as the product the fitness industry delivers, because if we're being real, a lot of facilities do not deliver what gangsters such as the 3 people on this call deliver, which is truly transformational change. As far as the product, that most facilities deliver, most people can do that by themselves for free in their garage. The clients that stick at gyms and stick around could be doing that for free, and they would do that for free. They're paying for a facility. The fitness industry is more focused on treating people as numbers than it is at having impact. And we're back to the ugly. It's created this system where they know who their ideal client avatar is and who's easy to market to. Mm-hmm. Why are they going to fight this uphill battle of trying to convince somebody that it's better to come to the gym at night instead of binging The Office again on Netflix? I think that actually got taken off Netflix. I'm not an Office guy, though.
Yeah.
Instead of binging Stranger Things or whatever on Netflix, why are they going to fight that uphill battle when they could just take the guy who had his best days of his life in high school sports and still wants to play pickup basketball at night and lift some weights and sell him a membership?
What came to my mind, Chase, when you said that is they're selling temporary belief in oneself. Temporary belief, not because you're speaking to the three of us, right? It's part of our identity. We move every day, right? It is just who I am. There is no like temporary belief here. Yet they want to sell the temporary belief because we're going to sell you this temporary belief that you're going to make this change, knowing that we're actually not going to shift your identity. And you'll fall off and you'll feel bad. And particularly if we can convince you on up and down cycling of caloric deficits where you'll actually gain back a pound or two from your original weight, we'll just get you to keep on coming back. The physiological side of the response of caloric deficits. So this temporary belief, what do you think?
Let me toss this out there.
Bring it.
What if these facilities, yes, they're more focused on they're if they truly wanted to help people, they'd find a solution. And what if they're out there thinking that what they're trying to give is the solution? What if they're out there, most of them are out there, how many gym owners and trainers do you know that have this crazy churn rate, low impact, and they blame the client? Well, they just didn't want it. Dude, if they wanted it, YouTube and Google would have worked for them. Somebody who's truly going to help them will help them figure out why the voice in the head tells them they don't want it and how to rearrange that voice. I don't know, maybe by using better words and breath and dissecting the stories. Shot in the dark and using that to create an effective journey.
Good shot. Real good shot. And I'm not exactly sure how your program is ran, so on and so forth, yet in Proclivity, we ask a lot of questions. And a lot of people, after week 2, go, wait, I thought you guys were just going to tell me what to do. And we had this in the last call that we had. I just thought you guys were going to tell me what to do. And Emily and I love leaning in and go, and how'd that work out for you in the past? And they go, terrible. Good thing we're making a change, huh? Of being able to go, wait, if you make the change, if we give you the foundation and you start standing on that foundation and go, wait a second, well, I could stand here. And what if I go over here? Great, try that. What do you think? Not so good. Okay, go. What about over there? Yeah, that's better. Okay, you made that decision. We didn't push you over and say, cut this, do this, have these many reps. We said, how's it feel? What do you think? Are you aware of it? Should you do another rep? Should you eat that? What?
That word, aware. Here's a plug. I have an album on Spotify called Mystical Giants. It's my philosophy album.
It's great.
Thank you. And I talk about awareness in a few of the tracks in there because so many people are unaware of what their body, their mind, their soul is trying to tell them. They run through life just blinders on, just cruising through. So, okay, how can you slow down? And I'm not talking like slow down like I'm going to go smoke a joint or I'm going to crack a beer or I'm going to watch Netflix. Like, teach yourself to slow yourself down without an external stimulus and then see what comes up. That's the beginning of cultivating awareness. And I'm right there with you with the questions. You know, I have a rhythm. I have 12 weeks of dumbbell workouts, not required that guys follow my workouts. They're there. Rhythm, identity, and intake besides that. And there's 6 modules for each of those with integration pieces. And those are like the blanket stuff that 95% of guys when I was working one-on-one got. And then the group calls, the one-on-one calls, there's no structure. It's all questions. We get on there, the guys are expecting like a lecture. Like, start asking questions.
And Emily, I want to pass this to you because this speaks to your story, whether you guys have heard this story or not, in terms of all the different symptoms that came up for you, right? In your journey. Does this resonate for you, what we're talking about?
Yeah, big time. Yeah, we're talking about it today of slowing down. And I spent years of physical symptoms such as bloating, GI discomfort, what people would call IBS, diagnosed autoimmune issues, kidney stones, seizures. The list goes on and on. And I thought when I first got into it, I made a great move. I was like, hey, I'm going to figure this out for myself. The doctors are trying to only put me on medication. Yeah, I know there's a way through nutrition and lifestyle, right? Yet when I first dove in, I was like, it has to be a certain food. Thank you. I was like, it has to be a certain food. So I did all these elimination diets. And yes, there can be certain foods that are triggers, right? Of course, refined food, sugars, alcohol, and certain things for certain people. Yet, what's that root cause? Poor digestion. What's that root cause? Going too fast, not breathing, not slowing down. And again, like you said, like letting things pass you by, you're not even paying attention to. And for me, the single biggest change was slowing down when I ate, chewing more, being more present, focusing on my breath there and afterwards. That was the single biggest change for my digestion. After years of being like, oh, this diet, that diet.
Yeah.
Food hygiene.
Food hygiene.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And now, just to follow up on that story, Emily, how are you feeling now?
Great. And I'll fall into times where I'm in that go, go, go mode. I'm like, oh yeah, I know exactly why I feel this way. Because I'm aware now. Right. And then I go back to, oh yep, this is what I know feels better.
Guys, again, I'm bringing it back. Emily has been a go-go hard charger, drove herself into the ground. I worked 60 plus hours a week, 5 hours of sleep, drove myself into the ground. Chase, I don't know. Maybe?
So fun story. I was leaving the gym one night in the first year running it, and I would be there from like 5 a.m. for the 5:30 class till about 9 p.m. after the 7:30 wrapped up, and I got the place shut down. And I get in my truck and I plug my phone in, and it goes 8 minutes to work, because I was at the gym for so long that my phone thought I worked the night shift, and it thought I was heading to work from home.
Oh, yes.
It's a good wake-up call.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
But I worked 36-hour days in the engine room. I'm fine. I'm not going to burn out. Yeah, right. Okay.
Yes. And we all got the external manifestations, right? I had diarrhea for 6 years. I didn't have time to address what could be the root cause of diarrhea. I just kept eating gluten and crap my pants 4 to 5 times a week, right? I don't have time for that. And your body is so incredible, it will adapt. It will adapt. It becomes your new normal. You don't even know. You don't know you're sitting at 45%. And there's still another 65% to go.
Speaking of percentages, when you do get tapped in and you start becoming aware, I woke up today, I was like, I'll bet you I'm at like 57% recovery on my whoop. I was at 62.
Ooh.
I guessed it within 5%.
Ooh.
You know?
That's
low, and that's that awareness.
And that's
how many people?
Very little.
Yeah.
I don't know what your question was going to be, Chase, but I was just going to say very little. That's okay. Very little. All right. So we've covered it, and in terms of the fitness industry, what we've gone through, what we've seen by being part of the fitness industry, guys, we're talking like 25 plus years between the three of us. We've seen it. Okay? Yet, let's give some solutions here. How do we optimize our fitness? We've talked a little bit, we've jumped in a little bit here and there in terms of people feeling like, wait, do I do 5 days or 7 days? What's my nutrition? What's the importance of this? We've talked about hormones and food and awareness. Let's just start from the beginning. In your professional opinion, if somebody's sitting there and going, man, I really want to optimize my fitness, my health, my lifestyle, where does it start?
Short answer, pick whoever you're resonating with most on this podcast and work with them. Long answer, jump into the deep end. Grab yourself a pen.
Yes.
And ask this question. How do I feel when I feel I need to go to the gym? And write that story out if that's the one that comes up. And if you feel a certain anxiety or certain pain in your stomach or something in your throat, ask yourself what that reminds you of. And don't just say, what does that remind me of? Oh, nothing. What does that remind me of? Close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and make a long exhale. And there might be something that comes up. Write that story down. And then read it back out loud. And then read it back out loud slower. And then read it back out loud with a breath at every comma and every period. And if you still need help with that story, get in touch with Joel or get in touch with me. Because those 4 steps alone will air it out. And if it's still holding on to you, that's when it's time to have a second set of eyes on it. I could throw out the tactical stuff, and at the end of the day, to implement working out less, walking more, sleeping more, breathing more. Ask yourself why you feel the need to be burying yourself in the first place.
And Chase, you said something that we call, are you willing to grab the shovel, right? When somebody says to us, I don't know, we say, take your time. And we'll pause with 6 or 7 other people on a group call. We'll go, take your time. This is a safe place for you. Because what I don't know is really what we're saying is, I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to go there, we're going to give you some time. Yet if you ask why enough, why do I feel like I need to go to the gym every day? Well, I don't know. It makes me happy. Why does the gym make you happy? Oh, well, because I get to see people I like. Keep asking why. Why is it the only people that you like at the gym? Whatever it is, what Chase is saying is until we get clear on the outcomes in our life, meaning, why am I doing this fitness? In one statement, why do I do high intensity? If it can't be clear, then we're probably soft talk acknowledged, being really muddled with why we're there, and we might just be running from something.
And that whole I don't know, I love this way of explaining it. I heard Aubrey Marcus say it. It's your identity, your inner child, your traumatized identity's immunological response. It's like a mental autoimmune response to not have to look at the things that hurt. When in reality, when we look at them and we take an honest, down-regulated look at them, things get a lot better. Joel, how many of your clients who are willing to dive straight into the deep end and work the addiction or the death or the abusive parent right out of the gate see quicker progress than the ones who tiptoe in?
100 out of 100 times.
Yeah.
100 out of 100 times. I just today got done with a first call. We do one-on-one calls. Part of the group is also to have one-on-one calls with us where we work into the stories, right? And they go, I had no idea I needed this. I had no idea. I thought this was a nutrition program, yet I needed this more than anything. 10 out of 10 times, you guys. 10 out of 10 times after I get done with my first call, that's what's said. There hasn't been a single time that and we get to the end of the call, graduation call, we say, hey, did the proclivity method meet your expectations? And is it what you expected? They're like, no, it was not what I expected. It was so much more. Mindset, language. You're saying to us, Chase, that is the number one thing to go after, to be able to clean that up, to be able to get the results that people are truly looking for?
For any goal to become permanent, there must be an underlying change in identity. So you might hit it, and unless you make that change, that underlying change in identity, you will bounce off of it.
That comes back to that temporary belief, right? I'm on a diet. I'm going through this fitness program. Instead of, I am fitness. I am health. I create
I am fitness.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. So, tier level number 1, guys. If the identity is not there, it's going to be really, really hard to have lasting changes. People can pitch you all they want. This program is made to for lasting changes. And if they're not going, and we're going to dive into your identity. Okay, so it's a temporary belief. It's a temporary belief. Until you're ready to rattle that cage.
I'll go one further. And if they're using answers to try and reshape your identity, even if they're the right answers, they are going to be fighting an uphill battle against your own cognitive dissonance. Find someone who can ask you the right questions to help you uncover your own identity.
You want a question coach?
Yes.
If you have a coach that's tossing you answers left and right, statements press, questions pull.
If you have a coach that's tossing you answers left and right, send them to the Enlifted community.
100%.
Tell them to tell the Enlifted community that Chase and Joel sent them.
Yes.
And we'll get it taken care of.
Yes. Yes. For real. Coaches, if you are listening to this, I've spent a lot of money. Lots of money. Twice the amount of money I spent on my college degree on coaching. This is by far the highest profile coaching certification program that I've gone through and highest return on my investment. By far. So plug and shout out to the Unlifted crew. Let's get into a little bit of the tactile stuff. Because I'm sure people are listening and they go, okay, mindset stuff, that's a tough one to wrap your head around. Yet we've given you answers. Problem man pathway, proclivity, Enlifted. It's out there. You need it, period. If not, temporary belief. Stay in the hamster wheel until you're ready. And when you're ready, you're ready. Right? It doesn't have to be now. When you're ready, you're ready. And we're here.
Somersaulting out of that sucker while it's still moving too.
Yes.
Jump out while the hamster wheel's still spinning.
Yes. Right? Because if you're flipping out of that hamster wheel, you're at least moving forward. Right?
Yep.
Let's talk about working out in itself. We're pitched a lot of different ways, right? 3 days on, rest day, 2 days on, another rest day. Should we be working out every day? What is a workout? Should we be moving? Should we call it movement? Should we call it fitness? When it comes to moving the body, how often should we be moving the body? What does that look like?
What's their training age, chronological age, and other life stressors?
Questions.
Yeah, questions. And rule of thumb, move your body enough that you feel like you got to work out. That doesn't mean you're laying on the floor every day. get down into the gym. I say get down because that's where my reticular activating system goes. My gym's 2 floors below me in my basement. But get into the gym and move. That can be for 15 or 20 minutes a day. But get focused exercise in for what my philosophy, at least 3 days a week. Now, something to watch, if you start being sore multiple days in a row and unable to recover, okay, it could be a nutrition thing. It could be that you're working out too much for your lifestyle. If your sleep starts getting affected, if your hunger, your mood, or your sex drive goes, check your volume, check your intensity. Generally speaking, 3 days of focused resistance training a week, and then daily movement besides that, whether that be walks, bike rides, maybe a couple runs in there, you're going to be doing pretty well for yourself. You're going to be ahead of a lot of people. You're likely, in the long term, I would put money that you're going to be ahead of the people who work out very hard 6 days a week.
Emily, does that resonate for you?
Yeah, I've heard of studies being shown that the people who work out the high intensity CrossFit style class for 60 minutes a day, yet they maybe sit the rest of the day, versus the people who are getting more steps in, more active throughout the day, but not getting that high intensity dedicated 30 to 60 minutes of movements, they are in the long term healthier in terms of longevity and vitality.
You guys want to know a secret?
Yes.
My Whoop strap often reads my workouts lower strain than my half an hour to 45-minute walks.
Me too, brother. Me too. And I'm here to testify. Okay, I'm here to testify. I'm about to get on my soapbox, and I want y'all to listen. I did high intensity, competed in CrossFit. Chase, I know you did the same thing, right? And I know you have a similar story because we've talked about this. In 2020, I stopped doing CrossFit. I didn't touch a barbell. I was starting a new business, right? And I was in my house. I have a 650 square foot condo. I was working out in my underwear with 2 torpedoes. If you don't know what a torpedo is, check it out. Alchemy, great piece of equipment for those who have little amounts of space. 2 35-pound torpedoes, which is basically like a dumbbell and a cowbell, had a baby. And I did that for an entire year. And I was doing a 72-hour fast, 3-day fast. If you don't know about fasting, we have episodes on fasting. Check it out. I was on a 3-day fast, and somebody from the CrossFit world said this to me. I couldn't do CrossFit, I'd lose my gains. And I said, is that so? Okay. So in my business clothes, I went to the closest gym, CrossFit gym. I loaded the bar up, started doing deadlifts. And I got to 405 deadlift. My max was 415. When I was CrossFitting all the time, strength training, all that jazz. I had been working out with 35-pound dumbbells for a year. Wait a second. I was at 98% of my 1 rep max with 35-pound dumbbells? Oh, because I was sleeping? Oh, because I addressed my language, my mindset, my words? Oh, because I changed my nutrition? My inflammation was down? Wait a second. We are sold a bill of goods in CrossFit, in all the different fitnesses realms, that it has to be this way for you to be able to get the results. I'm here to tell you and testify that still to this day, I am more fit than I am now at 37 years old than I was when I was in my late 20s doing CrossFit competitions, so on and so forth. Can I get an amen?
Amen. It is almost like if you give your nervous system a rest and let it down-regulate, you can tap into your top-end power and conditioning easier because you're leaving more of it on tap. I don't know. I don't know too much about this stuff.
Just a shot in the dark.
Shot in the dark. Throwing blind darts over here. Yes, dude. I recently, probably 3 weeks ago now, it's like, okay, my daughter's going to be born. She's due October 14th. My joints feel great. When I was 28 years old, my left knee felt like it was going to blow up. My shoulders were junk. But dude, I had a 113 grace time though. Like,
Yeah, you
hey,
did.
damn near did grace. I'm broken. Um, that being said, I'm making a run towards healthy top end strength again, just to see where I can get that nervous system adaptation before October. Because then when Thea turns 1, I'm gonna see where it's at again, see how the first year of sleep and everything has played. I took my lifetime 1 rep max back squat is 365. My lifetime 1 rep max deadlift, well, lifetime's 530. That's gone. But I've recently pulled 500 plus.
Wow.
Like in the last 6-7 months. That being said, last Monday, I took 365 for a barefoot single in my basement without getting angry and hyped up. So 90% my lifetime 1 rep. I deadlifted 405 for 8 reps with a dead stop in the bottom of each on just this past Saturday. And I'm working out at 5:30 in the morning when, I mean, if we nerd out on science, like I would be a little bit more powerful if I give my nervous system a few hours to wake up, right? So I'm hitting 90% my lifetime 1 rep at 6 a.m. I am moving 80% my lifetime for 8 reps on deadlifts. I benched 245 for 7 yesterday, and I do my heavy compound lifts after a few lifts. So this is all to be said. Like, guess what though, guys? I only do 1 heavy set. And then I get out, I do a back off set or 2, do some like 3 or 4 sets of an accessory movement. And there's some small lifts for activation and range of motion and a pump beforehand. And then that's it. And I walk out of the gym feeling good. And my walk I take afterward registers as more strain. While we're throwing numbers out there, I squatted 315 for 8 today. So, you know.
Yeah, you did. Yes, you did. Oh, yes, you did. If there's still people listening, right, who aren't so offended, or maybe they're listening because they're so offended they want to be mad at us, and there's people listening like,
I love you. If you're mad at me, I love you.
I love you too. Emily's the biggest lover, so you go ahead and try to be mad at Emily. It's impossible. Yet I want to bring Emily into this because there might be people thinking like, you don't understand. Wait until you have kids. Wait until you have kids. Okay, so let's bring that up. Wait until you do have kids, okay? All right, Emily, how old is Dansby?
Turning 2 in a couple weeks.
Okay, cool. And how long have you been a business owner?
A year.
Oh, okay. So you've had a kid and started a business, and today you ran 7 miles. Would you say that you're terribly out of shape and you're not strong anymore, and so on and so forth? Or would you say, similar to our experiences with Chase and I, maybe not playing off percentages, but who knows? Would you say that you're able to keep your fitness?
Yeah, I think about that a lot. I'm impressed at how well strength keeps on if you continue to move your body. Similarly, before pregnancy, I was my fittest and strongest ever. And throughout pregnancy, of course, and then postpartum with healing and everything, it's hard to maintain that strength, right? And so I was thinking coming back to, doing a back squat or doing a 7-mile run plus or whatever. It's like, it's going to be a lot harder. It wasn't as hard as I thought. And I know it's because of course, all the things we've talked about, but continuing with that daily movement, playing with my son on the floor, taking those walks daily, if not a couple times a day. So I was very surprised myself, even though this is what I talk about all the time. I encourage everyone to try that. And no, you don't have to go balls to the wall every single day doing CrossFit like I did 6-7 days a week prior to having a child. You don't have to do that to maintain the same endurance and the same strength. It's mind-blowing, and you're going to save so much time and effort.
I'm glad you went there with that question. I chapped some hides. Oh, should I start talking again? I saw your mouth moving. Yeah. Oh, all right. I chapped some hides on my Facebook and Instagram stories back in May, I think. I was sitting at a stoplight and I just got this. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make it a point. I put a story up. It's like, so my daughter's on the way. She's gonna be here in October, and I see a lot of people out there. Uh, well, when I had kids and this and that and like all the stuff we're talking about, right? I'm like, guess what? Yeah, I'm going into it with a good base, and 3 years from now, I'm going to still have a stellar body composition. I'm still gonna have a great sex drive. I'm gonna be pain free. I'm gonna be strong as all get out. And that was without a doubt my most responded to Facebook and Instagram story, with people like, well, you don't get it. Wait till you're a parent. Sometimes priorities change, this and that. Like, that's cool. When you're ready to move past the stories that created those responses, I'm here. We can pull up a Google Doc and we'll clear it out.
Bam.
It's true. These things change. Your priorities change in a different way, but you still can make time for yourself and do it in different ways. I did CrossFit 6-7 days a week before. I'm still in the same shape and doing different things, fitting it in here. I tell people all the time, I'll get my 15 minutes of movement in by doing 3 sets of 10 push-ups, 20 air squats, and 30 lunges. It's still doable. And yeah, I just love it. People are like, just wait. Like, for what?
I told my wife that my chest workout can literally be just some Wim Hof push-ups. Do some breathing, roll over, do push-ups on the exhale. Listeners, if you have yet to try that, you too, if you have yet to try that, have you guys ever done Wim Hof push-ups?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Okay. It's like, it feels like you've already done an hour chest workout when you get done with it. It's, and I do. So I'll go 25 breaths, hold on the inhale to get hyperoxygenated, and then go 40 breaths, hold on the exhale, roll over, do some push-ups. And that's the start of my push day. Now, that being said, in a busy season of life where I have less sleep, that could be my whole push day. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
It takes so much less to maintain than people think.
Oh, yeah.
It actually takes less to gain than a lot of people think, too.
Yes. I have my go-to every time that, things got busy, right? Cool. I'm going to do the rodeo. 4 rounds, 25 push-ups, 25 core, whatever. That could be sit-ups, V-ups, whatever. 25 air squats. I do it. I can do it as fast as I can, or I can tempo it up. It takes 10 to 15 minutes. I can fit that in anywhere, at any time. I can do it in my office right now, right? I can do it at home. I can do it in the hotel room. I move every day, whether it's the rodeo, whether it's a walk, whether it's a run, or whether it's play. Yet that's my identity. It's not a temporary belief. I will move every day because I am trying to win the Centurion Olympics. I'm trying to be 100 carrying my own groceries, right? Independently.
Pick up the trying.
I will. Look at that. That's a language coach coming in with the assist and the dunk.
Alley-oop.
Yeah, buddy. And being able to have that movement, you guys, it does not have to be a 60-minute high-intensity workout. Because if you put that on the plate and you think, I'm either failing or I'm succeeding, only if I do 60 minutes, only if I get a deep sweat, only if my lungs are bleeding, then you're going to create a big enemy against yourself.
Only if I did it RX. Only if I'm in the top 3 names on the leaderboard.
Mm-hmm. CrossFit. If y'all don't know that is typical CrossFit stuff. You have a WOD workout of the day and it's timed. And are you the top time or do you have the most reps? So on and so forth. Yes.
I used to hide 1.25 pound plates when I would work out with classes. I used to hide 1.25 pound plates between bigger plates and outlift guys by 2.5 pounds, but then not tell them until we were done with class.
Yes. Oh, man. And now look at you now, Chase.
The mystical giant.
The mystical giant. The mystical giant. I have one more question, and I know that Emily has some questions as well. Yet, this is pinpoint for those people out there that may be thinking to themselves, man, a lot of this stuff is like hitting home, and I feel like I have to do 60-minute workouts. And you're right, I've had these temporary beliefs, and I've gone back and forth when it comes to fitness and my health. And I did answer the question that Chase asked, and it really is, I'm running from something. We've covered a lot. Yet, what are most people, negation acknowledged, not doing that would have the biggest impact? We've talked about the stories. Outside of unwinding the story, what are most people not doing that would have the biggest impact now?
Breathing. I have yet to do it, and I would love to get a client who it's right for, who all I prescribe is breathing, walking, and working their mantras.
And why is breathing so important, Chase? People are like, what the heck are you talking? Of course I'm going to breathe. That's what I do every single day.
There's a reason it's the second module the second level of my identity module right after language, right? When we go back to the blinders that we can go through life with, our inability to be aware of ourselves and to be hiding from life. The quickest way to slow down, and y'all can try this right now while you're listening, take a 3-second inhale through your nose, and then up at the top, now 6-second exhale. You get an exhale twice as long as your inhale, you are going to start down-regulating your nervous system. You wake up in the middle of the night, you feel wide awake, and you're not going to get back to sleep. Do 3 of those. Tell me if you're still awake.
Yes.
It's my trick. It's my trick, because guess what? Even with all the nerding out I've done, reading Matthew Walker's book, reading up on sleep science, I still wake up sometimes. Guess what, though? I know how to put myself back to sleep, because I know how to breathe. Also with breath. Oh, let's go. I got a couple points here.
Oh, yeah.
The only difference between a conversation and an argument is if you've already decided what you're going to say before the other person gets done talking. It's not tone of voice. It's whether you're listening or not. And you want to know how to listen to other people and actually start to even listen to yourself before you say things? Breathe. So play this game next time you're in a conversation with someone who you think there's a chance you might talk over, or it's going to be a stressful situation, or if it's just a regular conversation. Take as long of an exhale through your nose as you possibly can while they're talking. See if you're thinking about what you're going to say or if you're actually listening to what they're saying. My money is on the fact that you'll listen. And last one, breathing. Emily touched on this. Breathing while you eat. If you're chewing your food enough, you will end up taking slow nasal breaths while you eat, because it's just about impossible to take 30 chews plus per bite and not take a breath in there. So breathe.
And people are sitting here like, what the heck is going on? I thought I was getting onto this podcast to be able to get, again, told what to do. 10 reps, right? At 3 sets at 10 reps at a certain tempo that's going to create a stimulus.
Listeners, I don't know your chronological age, your training age, or your neuromuscular efficiency, and to suggest that you do the same fitness program that I do would be absolutely irresponsible. Okay? So I'm sorry I can't give that to you.
Amen, brother. And I'm so glad you touched that, because if there's people out there tossing stuff at you saying that you need to do this, do that, so on and so forth, without checking the foundation first, it is like putting a house on sand. We make sure the foundation is there, because a foundation, we're in Emily and I's office. The foundation we're standing on right now was built in 1902. Rocks and mortar. That's where it is. Not cement, rocks and mortar. And it 1902, that's over 100 years, y'all. That's lasting. Yet if this building would have got put on a faulty foundation, or a foundation that was just in the dirt, it would have been done at 5 years later. And so that is what we're talking about. We've done it. We've built our houses on sand, and it crumbled. Joint pain, knee pain, not sleeping, anxiety, stress, physical manifestations, all of it. And we realized, wait a second, slow down, breathe. What's the story? How are we feeding ourselves? What's important here? Now I can start adding on and start thinking about tempos and weights and running 34 miles and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Oh, and if you breathe, I've actually heard this one from people before. Hemorrhoids are real. People don't talk about them. And if you're way overstressed, they're more of a possibility. So, as a funny yet real little sidebar there, breathe and you won't have a painful butthole.
Or ulcers, like you talked about earlier.
Or ulcers. That fantastic book, by the way. Robert Sapolsky is a freaking brain. He wrote another one called The Gene, and I'm scared to read it. To be quite honest, I'm intimidated by it because this physical therapist that was at my gym, who was like, I learned something every time I talked to her. She worked with like neural stuff, physical therapy, not like you sprained your wrist physical therapy. And she read it and she goes, "Wow, that was heavy." So it's been sitting on my shelf since then.
Yes. Oh man, there has been so much that we've covered in this podcast, and I really hope that if you've made it through this far, that you've gained a lot out of this. And before we start wrapping this up, Emily, what has been your thoughts throughout this? Do you have any other questions for Chase, or is there anything that we didn't cover that you feel our listeners should hear?
Yeah, what I was most excited about was to talk about what's the first step someone can do. And you mentioned this, what's the first step someone can do if they're in that state of, I need that workout for my mental escape, for my stress reliever, because that is what we hear often in where we've been before. Is it getting that pen and paper first? Is there anything else that you can tell that person who's listening going, man, I feel like I don't know how to get out of that loop?
I'm taking a breath to see if I can avoid repeating myself and going back to breathe.
If it's the breathe or the pen and paper, those are what I was looking for too.
Pen and paper, go for a solo walk with no phone. See if just getting out on the street helps instead of the I need a workout. Like nice, easy movement can still be a spot to unwind without adding to that stress bucket that is probably already really, really heavy. Mm-hmm. And if, some people try and, I'll quote myself here. Some people go into the world to find themselves. Others go into themselves to find the world. So if you're wondering, instill some sort of quiet practice, some sort of reflection, whether it's journaling, meditation. If you liked that quote, that's the opening line of the Mystical Giants album. Go on Spotify, plug that sucker in, put some headphones on, and just sit and see what comes up. Because I've heard about some guys getting some big light bulb moments already listening to that. So.
Man, y'all got served up. Listen, we've covered a lot, and if you have questions about this, please reach out to us. We are here to help. We truly care. The people we bring on to the Proclivity podcast, just like any product that we promote, it is top notch. And Chase is a top notch individual. Emily and I have spent time with Chase. I have known Chase for a very long time. This is the kind of guy who I would say, here, watch my kid. Those are the type of people that we bring on to the Proclivity podcast, and Chase is no exception.
Appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely. Before we close out, let's put a bow on this. We've repeated ourselves multiple times, and that's because repetition is the mother of all skill. We know that. Yet now let's give them a 1, 2, 3. What are top 3 ways to optimize their fitness to our listeners who are most likely not doing?
So this is fun because there's the basics and there's the things that aren't necessarily basics that can also be implemented very easily. So top 3 ways to optimize your fitness: eat real food, go for walks, take deep breaths. I'll throw a bonus on there because we talked about it beforehand. Get in an ice bath and get in the ice bath for over 3 minutes, because out of all the metabolism hacks out there, this one's actually proven by science. So when I start browning some fat, get in an ice bath for longer than 3 minutes. You'll also, bonus, get some control over that breath we talked about while you're in there.
Yeah. And guys, that hormone that you love that you don't know about called dopamine,
That dopamine hit.
you get a dopamine hit. And the great thing with ice baths is that it increases your base level dopamine, meaning you have less of those crashes. That day that you feel like fantastic because you did that crazy workout and you feel great, but then the next day you just kind of feel down, you feel slow, you almost feel maybe a little depressed. That's because your baseline dopamine is low. Yet through cold therapy, it raises that baseline. And when you raise that baseline, less of a crash. So now you stay more consistent. Weird.
And I wonder if with a higher baseline dopamine, they would be able to better have a realistic and logical look at whether they should or shouldn't be going to the gym and doing a really intense workout.
Another shot in the dark,
I will say about ice baths, I really enjoy. I ice bath every Thursday and Sunday, and I fast Wednesday to Thursday dinners and Saturday dinner to Sunday lunch, and I do my ice baths while I'm fasted. And those are extra special.
Double the pleasure, double the fun. That's the statement of the great mint of double mint gum. How catchy it can be. Chase, how can people get a hold of you? And I believe from what I've been following, you have a cohort that's coming up soon. So tell us about what's going on with Primal Man Pathway and how people can get a hold of you.
I appreciate the opportunity, brother. Primal Man Pathway is kicking off cohort 2 on August 1st. It is likely the last cohort of 2022 because it will run through when my daughter's born unless she comes extremely late. That, going through the last couple months of the year, I'll be laying low. Sarah will be on maternity leave, so we'll be taking our time around here. That being said, how to find me, ChaseTolleson.com has all the links to book a call. If you want to see what I'm about first, see more of the message. Very active on Instagram at Coach_Chase_Tolleson. The link is in my bio right now if you're watching this live, and the link will still be in the bio to get on the wait list or to book a call there. So anybody, if you're getting this message before Monday the 23rd, actually, you know what? If you hear this podcast before the 1st and you came from the podcast, I'll give you the wait list price because right now, as we're recording this, we're in wait list week. So, the tagline speaks because I've had, we help guys be proud of the man in the mirror.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's I appreciate you, Chase, for being out there, for being a guide for men as a man who's worked with other men. We need coaches like you. And I'm so grateful for A, your professionalism as a coach, B, your friendship and your brotherhood and what you've helped me through. I thank you for being on this podcast, and I really look forward. This is the second time. Most likely, guys, watch out. Chase is Chase is going to be back for a third.
It'll happen. And if y'all want to hear the most listened to episode of the Primal Man Pathway podcast, go find Joel's interview on there, because we went in for like 2 hours.
And there was a lot that got covered, guys.
Yes.
If you want a different side, of what you hear on the Proclivity podcast, head over there. It's a good one. Coach Emily, anything else before we sign off?
No, thank you so much, Chase. We're super excited to continue to work with you, since you align so much with what we teach ourselves. So thank you for being on today.
Thank you, Emily. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm very much so looking forward to more conversations.
There it is, you guys. Episode 77 of the Proclivity podcast. Listen, reach out to Chase if this resonated with you guys. Also, if any of the stuff that resonated with you, ladies, professionals, anyone, reach out to us. Proclivity.co. Set up a two-on-one, Emily and I will both be there. 2-on-1 clarity call where we'll be able to help you get through that stuck. In 45 minutes, we can help you get through that stuck. And if it makes sense, you can dive in to our 12-week program and be able to check that out as well. Chase, once again, thank you so much, brother. I really look forward to continuing to watch your success and to meet that new baby come along the way.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Till next time. Best day ever.